people, we are back. A2TP podcast episode 130.
130.
130. We are back. Episode 130. 130. It's your boy International Walk.
It's your girl Tosh, the co-hostess with the mostest.
And we back for another episode. A2TPodcast.com, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google, Podcast, Anchor, Radio Public, TikTok, Breaker, Spotify. Where the fuck y'all at? Because we out there on all of them. So, get right to it. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing pretty good. Mentally, I'm a 9.
A Nina, no way back.
Yeah, I feel pretty good. You know, nothing is wrong. You know, some things on my mind, but
we
nothing
actually
bad.
write these down too, just so y'all know. Like when y'all doing y'all checks, I know I send out a Monday morning check, to, you know, for the whole week. But you know, you can log this stuff and then go back and see how good or bad you was feeling. Go ahead.
Yeah. He didn't mean to interrupt me like that, but that was a great point. Yes, but no things on my mind, nothing bad, but you know, it's just things on my mind.
And another thing.
But I'm good. I'm a 9.
Okay. Finances.
Finances a 10. Yeah, finances a 10 and all looking good there. Wanted to spend some money. My husband told me we probably won't be able to, which is good, which just means that we'll just save more money, but you know, it's all good.
Work. I ain't paying you no fucking mind.
Work.
Go ahead, work.
Work is a 9. It could be a 10, but you know, I'm not really being asked to do much right now. And I just wanna like I just want to be being used, if that's the right way to say it.
Yeah,
but I'm just chilling.
You're available though, right?
Yeah, I'm available.
Well, that's the best kind of employee, is an available one.
Yeah.
It's not like you call out or you got issues.
No, I'm there. When I am asked, something is asked of me, I'm responsive. But, you know, I'm just, you know, my girl Kelly told me, you know, just coast through it for the summer, enjoy it, and then I'm sure things will kick up. So, yeah.
Physicality?
Physically, I'm a 9. Went for a walk today. I made some promises to myself.
You got 3 Nueves and a dime.
Yeah, I made some promises to myself for the month of July. And, you know, I had to tell myself, you know, sometimes I give y'all a little pep talk on the Act 2 stories or whatever when I'm doing my walks. But, you know, one thing I told myself this morning is like, if you can't keep promises to yourself, then how good is your word?
I shouldn't believe shit you say that, huh?
How good is your word if you can't keep your promises to yourself? So that just, you know, was playing in my head. I'm like, you know what? You can't let yourself down. And you gotta respect and love yourself enough, as, you know, just like you love and respect. He knows he can trust my word if I make a promise to him. So why shouldn't I give myself that same honor? So I made some promises to myself so that physically I can feel, you know, continue to feel better, and I'm going to do it. So I'm feeling a 9 today.
Cool.
Why was you looking confused? Like you wasn't understanding what I was saying.
I was understanding everything you're saying. I don't know why I got to look like you need me to look. I'm going to look like I want to look. I was paying you all the attention. I was just focused on you. I wasn't thinking no shady shit, no smart shit, no jabs. I was just looking at you.
Okay. How are you?
I'm okay. My mental went down just now.
Just in that quick second?
Yeah.
Should have lost if I didn't have much control over you.
I was just 10. I'm a 9.
Oh.
So I'm going to put myself down for a 9. Could have been a 10, but
I ruined it.
can't have the last 30 seconds of my life back. Finances is a 10. Thank you, Jesus. You know, ain't got much to say about that. Work is a 9. I'm back to work after the vacation, and it felt good a little bit for like an hour or two. Want to be back out.
You had a vacation? Oh, you mean like the day of... Oh, okay. You threw me for that. Okay.
Yeah, I remember I flew away. Remember I went to Pakistan? I said I was going over there to see my uncle.
Smarty. You know what happened with Smarty.
I was just saying. You didn't remember I went to Pakistan.
Okay.
Physicality, I feel like a 9. These days I record this show is my therapy day. So, got a workout in the day. Felt good. Got the heart rate going. Broke a fucking sweat. And that's always good. That feels like a big fat vitamin. I don't know why, but it does. Like working out, just especially not just. I don't want to say working out, just getting your heart to race and sweat feels like a big fat vitamin. Pause.
Why was that?
Just keep it moving.
I was just wondering what was Paul's word, because it was big and fat. Like, you know, I don't know.
God, pause.
Your therapy, you go for an hour, right?
Yes.
Like, what duration of that are you working out? Is it like
probably 50 minutes?
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it wears you out and you be tired, but that's great. Like, yeah,
probably 50 minutes, and then the other. Well, it's like 55 minutes because the last 5 minutes you cooling down.
So as soon as you walk in, you get to working out. It's no like
It takes you about you are walking at 3 o'clock. By 3:05, I'm already set up.
Okay, and then by 4 o'clock,
like I'm already strapped up, monitor and all that shit on. Like you get that shit yourself and hook yourself all up, and then you go to the desk and tell them you're ready to go, and then that's when they do Bluetooth you.
That's pretty cool. Okay, yeah, that's a nice amount of time to be working out. So that's good. I'm happy it's keeping you healthy.
And the first 20 minutes is always the hardest because that's like the cardio shit. But yeah, once you start sweating, it just feels like damn, like where was that all day? You know what I mean? I don't necessarily like the way you feel afterwards because you're tired as fuck, but I feel good. I'm a 9.
That's good.
I usually have a topic of discussion.
But wait, before we get there though, what's your wows and woes? I'm just saying, you skipped past that.
I didn't skip past it though. Sometimes you gotta, for lack of a better term,
Kamate.
Tranquilo, mommy.
Okay.
Be quiet. Like shh.
Okay.
So, like I was saying, I usually run the show and have a line of questioning or a topic of discussion, and she doesn't know what questions that I'm going to ask her. Yeah. So I'm pretty much set up in that kind of show tonight where she's going to have a topic of discussion, and I don't know what she's asking me. So after we get through with our wows and woes, then we will turn the show over to the co-hostess with the mostest. Wows and woes.
I feel like you forgot, but I'm going to just give you that. Okay. Like, I'm going to just give you that. My bad for jumping the gun.
Okay.
My wildest...
I think you're a little anxious. Kamate.
I'm
just saying.
I didn't jump ahead, but okay. My wow this week, just having, even though my wow and woe was kind of tied in. My wow was just happy to have a day off, happy to, chill with you, doing something that we really have always enjoyed doing. Like, we always enjoyed beach days, like not making a whole hoopla of it, just us, the beach, like really chilling hard. So that I was just happy to have that day off. The whoa part of it was like, wah, like you work Monday, you're off Tuesday, then right back to work. But I'm just still grateful to have that day off. It would have been great to have, it would have been great to have Monday instead of Tuesday, or even better to have a 4-day weekend. But nevertheless, we made the best of the day. And I'm happy that, the weather, this summer weather has been tricky. Like the forecast every day, they've been wanting it to rain, but we said we just won't go, and it turned out to be a really great day. So I'm grateful for that.
God willing, next year will be a lot different for us, and we had some things happen this year, in our lives. But next year, God willing, hope things will be different. We never took a vacation like on the 4th of July, but shout out to those people who found a way to be off since Thursday of last week till next Monday, and only took a little bit of days and tied the weekends back to back, the short weekend with it, like and only had to take off for what? Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So shout out to y'all. Y'all did a good thing.
Yeah, it was good planning with that.
Yeah, I've never been on vacation on 4th of July. It just seemed early for us, but
Well, because we always go for your birthday, so we would be doing like a back-to-back. But it ain't bad to do like a little weekend thing maybe. But then you figure next year 4th of July is going to be on a Wednesday, so that's going to be weird.
And it's stupid.
No, actually it's going to be on a Thursday because it's going to skip a day because next year's leap year.
Right, so it'll be on Thursday.
We need to take off that Friday because, again, it's going to be weird. You're going to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, off Thursday, back to work Friday.
Yeah, have some days for that. Yeah, have some days for that.
God willing, we can plan for that.
What you on? Your wows? Your woes?
Well, your wows and woes.
My wow is just that, I was at the beach. I ain't been to the beach all summer, and a lot of people start, as soon as the weather breaks. So it's July 4th. We went to the beach. It was fun. It was clean. It wasn't no bullshit beach. I wish it was a tropical beach, but a beach nonetheless. So yeah, that was my wow. It's just sitting out there. It felt really good. It wasn't hot. I wasn't roasting. But yeah, so that was my wow.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. I was going to say, transparency moment. I always tease him about being bougie, but we both have kind of gotten bougie ever since we've been able to go to a tropical beach. We fronted on the New Jersey beaches, rightfully so, because the water compared to like the islands is gross, but just chilling, it reminded me of like, okay, we can still enjoy this and it be beautiful.
Yeah,
but
you ain't gotta get in the water.
We fronted hard. We fronted hard on the Jersey.
I mean, you can get your ankles wet, but
years.
I wouldn't suggest taking a dip in. Like she went down in a bathing suit. I wouldn't necessarily go in trunks because I wouldn't plan to get wet. But I take my shoes off and get my ankles wet. Yeah. So that was my wow. My woe was I don't really have no woes. Nothing really bad happened to me. So I ain't gonna force the issue. Didn't have no woes.
That's awesome.
So
a woeless.
As we go into our topic of discussion, co-hostess with the mostest.
So actually, I am your interim host today. It's like, nah. I talked to my husband about doing this show because I don't want to say a lot.
Hold on before you start. I encourage her to be concise and to be to the point. I'm stuttering. To be to the point, but y'all know my wife is long-winded, so bear with her in some cases when she get excited about something.
But let me also say this. Then he tells me sometimes that I don't talk enough. So I'm gonna be me. Y'all just gonna take it. All right, I'm gonna be me. I wanted to do this show today. I talked to my husband about it because I don't want to say a lot, I don't want to exaggerate, but I get quite a few DMs just about us. Like, nobody, I think, should look at another couple as relationship goals, but I think it's great when other people see in you, things that may be admirable. And I've had conversations with people about our relationship, about some things that we've overcome, about where we are. And I think just in our presentation via the show and our pictures and other posts like that, people just see a little bit of who we are. And I think one of the things that people gravitate to us because of is, I think one of the reasons why people gravitate to us is because we're authentic. Mm-hmm. Like, y'all know when we ain't like really feeling each other like that. Y'all know when we all in love. Like, we always in love, but when we in love. Y'all know when I'm ready to log off so I can go in there and like
wear it on our sleeves.
So we can play, doctor and patient. Like, we're transparent, we're authentic, and we don't know how to be anything else. So with that being said, we are not perfect. We have come through a journey to get to where we are. So I just kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit, about what our journey has been. We've talked about our relationship and things that we dealt with in certain aspects here and there, but someone had brought to my attention, and I, shout out to all couples who go through turmoil. It's normal, but I think, it's always healthy to seek help if needed, or just to find a way to make it work if you find that it's worth it. And somebody reached out to me who, I know that they've been experiencing some turmoil, and, she was like, it would be great if y'all kind of talked about how y'all got through those rough patches. And I thought that was just, it's because, again, people can talk about the good all day long, but it's those rough patches that come along that where you really got to like check the situation. So
I like this conversation, probably, I think.
So I'm gonna get into it a little bit.
And one thing I want to piggyback on is just information. It's one thing to look to a couple to say to yourself that's relationship goals, because you may see the love that couple has. But if you can tap into that couple personally and get information, then maybe you can apply what you think is relevant to your relationship. So information is key. People that's just stingy with information or don't want to tell you that there has been rough times or has been hard times is just bullshit. That's just Instagram, like all the good shit.
And it is certain things, like, don't get me wrong, there may be certain qualities and characteristics about people in couples that you may find, hey, I might want to try that. But when I say, no couple should be goals for another couple, our full life, no one else can emulate, because we are us and you are you. Yeah. And there are things that we've been through, y'all know my baby was a fugitive for 20 years. And I wouldn't tell anybody to go through that to get to where we are. On the other side of the rainbow, it is a pot of gold, and I am grateful. So that's when I say, you know, to say couple goals, like, you don't want what we have, because this is what God had for us. Yeah. But to see certain qualities in a couple, I think, you know, that's definitely something
you
that
always want
you
your
can
own
pull
set of
from.
Circumstances. You always want to go with your own set of circumstances. There's a saying that if you go in a room and everybody throws their problems up, you'll reach for yours on the way down. Because comparison is the thief of joy. You take away what you got, and you could have something strong. You just might need to tweak.
You know, I've never heard that before, but I like it.
What?
Throw your problem. Everybody throw your problems.
You walked into a room with everybody, and everybody threw their problems up in the air. You'll reach for yours on the way down, because you'd be like, "Fuck that! I don't want that to be wrong with me. I don't want that. Like, my shit ain't that bad."
Yeah.
So
let's kick it off. So what were the examples of love and or marriage did you have before us?
Before us. So before us, examples of marriage that I look forward to, or I looked up to.
Just examples of, like, before us, like what were those examples? Good, bad, or indifferent?
Well, I mean, I had my mother's marriage, which was, you mean, I grew up in that. So
to your dad.
Yeah.
Right.
To my dad. So that was a dysfunctional marriage of, you know, I would say that I saw. In my teenage years growing up, I was trying to figure out my own shit. So I wasn't around. Plus, I was a fugitive. I was a recluse. So I wasn't around a lot of people firsthand to get knowledge on marriage. What I was going through, I think was I took dysfunction from my family to my relationship with my daughter's mom, and I had dysfunction there. So that was a bad example. The only good examples of marriage that I saw was people I couldn't reach, like celebrities and things like that. I just assumed that this couple was great because I just thought their body language and the way that they looked at each other, or when I saw an interview with somebody, it was like they're a good couple. But I never had firsthand couples to look at, to say, or know in depth to be like, they're good.
Okay. Yeah, so it's similar for me. Like, my parents, of course, were married. And, you know, my grandparents, so on my father's side, my grandpop, and it's weird saying my step grandmom because she was my grandmom all my life, but I knew my biological grandmom. They were divorced, but that was a marriage. And then on the other side, you know, my grandmom and grandpa were married. I had cousins who were married. So there were quite a few examples of marriage around me, but it's weird because none of them did I look to as anything. Well, of course, my parents, they gave me a mindset of exactly what I wanted not to have in my life. But all of the other couples, I didn't know enough about them or see enough about them of anything that I wanted to emulate.
Firsthand, right?
Yeah, it was like I knew all these couples, but it was like I just didn't have any firsthand experience that was like, oh, I just, you know who was my goals? The Huxtables.
Yeah, shit like that. And to be honest with you, just thinking about that question, I didn't, like, not only did I not have anybody firsthand to like, I thought what I was going through in my relationship was like anybody was doing better than me. Like, to be honest with you, like, I probably felt like I'm going through arguments and fighting and shit, and I'm young and fresh with a baby, and like, it's whoever going through anything else in a relationship, it's better than what I'm going through. It's better than what I'm doing. It's better than what I'm trying to apply. Like, they got more information than I got. So
prior to that, because that was like your first adult serious relationship, right? Mm-hmm. Prior to that, though, so your parents were the only firsthand experience. So how did that, I mean, you had limited examples. How did that form your mindset of what you looked for? Obviously, the dysfunction that was there, and then, like you said, being with your daughter's mom, it was more dysfunction. So did you was
still
there any
believing in love and having an imagination of all these things on the con list.
Okay.
Like pros and cons of what a relationship should be, what a man should be, what a wife should be, what love looks like. I mean, even though back then I didn't have this kind of language to even say like what love looks like. So yeah, I just would think like it's not supposed to be this. Now, I don't know what it's supposed to look like, or I have a picture in my head of, yeah, I'm going to have a wife and I'm going to treat her, you know, the best in the world and, you know, all these kind of things, but you don't know. This is in my face. You don't know.
Okay, it was more in your okay.
Yeah, you don't know because you don't have an example of it, but you just know what not to do. Like I knew, like, I'm not going to beat my wife. I'm not going to fight with my wife. I'm not going to, like, we're going to have the best relationship. She's going to be my friend first. Like, all those things I thought of, but I never experienced them or saw them.
Yeah, I think it's weird.
Like you said, the Huxtables was like, oh shit, I wish they was my mom and dad. Like, that's a good mom and dad. The fucking Winslows, oh shit, that's a good mom and dad. Like those.
Oh, family.
Yeah, like those were who, like, I've seen who were married was, again, people I couldn't reach.
Yeah, and I don't even think so much I was looking at it from a parental standpoint, but I was looking at it like, I love the way, it always stands out in my mind how, like, Cliff and Claire, like, they would just randomly have a little dance together. Like, those little intimate moments.
I was ready to say, and see, as you get older and have the language to articulate that, it's like they created... although they have 5 kids, they created time for them. They created a moment in the show for them. But when we was kids, you know, we probably ain't look at it like that. We just thought, oh shit, they dancing again.
And you know what's crazy? The world is so jaded by how much dysfunction there is in the world that so many people will say like, oh, that was just TV. Like, that's not realistic. But it is. It is realistic
and
to have that.
You got to realize before Bill Cosby was the Bill Cosby that y'all know today, it was his life's goal to emulate black people the way he saw them, the way he thought. And everybody in TV knew that. That wasn't a secret. He wanted to put black people on TV the way he saw them. So that was a vision. So it's not like that was some made up shit. It was his experience he took through life, maybe his parents, and it was like, okay, this is what I see black people, not the ratchet shit.
Yeah, it was tangible. So 10 years ago versus today, right?
Right.
How would you have described our relationship 10 years ago?
2013. I would say.
At that point, we had been together for 12 years?
Yeah. 2013, I would say probably just coming off the mend. Because our worst years were 08 and 09. 010 was a little rocky. 11, you know, wasn't our best years. But I would say 12 and 13, it's like it was starting to be a little bit better.
Right, but if you had to put a description on it, like, remember we used to watch the show and they had like a rainbow. Like, if you had to put a description on it, like if you were selling that, how would you describe it in like a few words? 2013,
10 years ago.
Or let's just say, maybe not specifically that year, but us 2013 or prior, like that period of time compared to, let's say, 2020 to now.
And see, because it's all hindsight for me. So it's like it was the beginning of me unraveling because of my situation. Like it's layered, babe. It's a lot of shit there. That's a loaded question. 2013, we were, like I said, we were better. We wasn't nowhere near where we were now. Like, I just feel like we were functioning. We were in love still. I mean, that's one thing we always stayed is in love. But we were functioning better than we was in 08 and 09 and 10. But I don't think I even showed you any sign of change or anything like that. So it's like a lot in there.
So you would just say we were functioning.
Yeah,
then.
we
so
were
that
just
would be the like, which in
not bad or good. It was like because we were We wasn't in hindsight, you would think, yeah, that's not the way we should have been functioning. But at
But
the
we
time,
were.
it wasn't like it was in '08 and '09, where it was like we wanted to separate and leave each other, or we just didn't know what was next for us. Like, was the next argument going to break us in '08 and '09? But in 2013, I mean, we was functioning. It wasn't bad. We was arguing less, but it wasn't, you know, it was just like we're functioning.
Now, compared to now, what would you... So, okay, for me, if I had to describe or put a tagline on that period of our life, not specifically 2013, but I'll say that, like, just that 3 to 4, maybe 5-year period, you know, during that time. After, I'm going to say after, like, 2009, which, you know, wasn't our best year, I would probably say it was, like, dysfunctional contentment.
Yeah.
Like we were content in where we were. You know, it wasn't
Probably
good, it wasn't
happy
bad.
We were still together.
It wasn't good, it wasn't bad. I think we may have been a little stagnant.
Happy nobody did nothing stupid.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing.
I think we may have been a little bit stagnant because we knew there was so much more we wanted, but we knew that, or at that time we felt that we didn't just feel, we knew there was a big wall.
Yeah.
And we knew on the other side of that wall was some great things for us. I just don't think we knew how. You know, of course, breaking through the wall was you gaining your freedom. But for me, it's like, I can't tell you break through that wall because who knows what's going to be the outcome of that.
Wall, right.
But I think at that point, we had just decided to be content where we were.
Right. Which was, in hindsight, in dysfunction.
Yeah, yeah.
We was in dysfunction because there was a lot of things wrong with us in our relationship, like things that I was probably upset about that I didn't like that you did or talked. It's the same thing with you, ways that I would treat you and talk to you, and like just how we act towards each other. We wasn't that wasn't us at all. And when you think back on it, it's just like we were content with that. Like, this is just what it is.
I think for me, it was looking at it like the bar was raised from what the examples of love and marriage that we seen. So it was like, well, it ain't as bad as this. It ain't as good as it can get, but we here. And we were content with that. We had kind of like stunted our own growth in some ways. Mm-hmm. Would you agree?
Yes, as far as the relationship, but life also was doing it too, because we were on our 12th vacation, driving, and you know, those are the early years where I started to wonder, like, how long is this going to be? So yeah, it's a lot in there.
So what do you attribute to the growth and evolution of our relationship?
Being friends, like, that's always been our foundation. Being friends, I think, helped us always want to make sure each other was okay. And so I think that is what made us care about each other the way that we do. Being in love, no matter what turmoil we went through, or arguments we went through, or arguments that we couldn't fix, that we just let, lay there like a bad pierogi on a plate, or we just, because we didn't know how to fix them. We just like let days go past and then we start talking again. But trauma, scars and shit, we didn't know how to fix that. And then, what was the question again?
What do you attribute to our
growth? Yeah, and then jumping forward is therapy. I mean, that's moving forward to 2020 where, shit just changed all around for us, and putting therapy in our life was a huge, like, in the relationship we've been together since 2001, and we've always taken 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 3 steps forward, maybe 1 step back, 4 steps forward, 2 steps back. When we hit therapy in 2020, we took 10 steps forward. And in 2021, we might have took 2 steps back. You know what I mean? But then we hit a stride and found our pace in 2022 and was like, okay, this is how this carriage is supposed to ride. I'm comfortable with my role. Babe, are you comfortable with your role? Yeah, okay, let's go take it. Let's go tackle the world. Like, let's go live life. And I think that's how I felt about it.
Yeah, I think I would attribute our growth to definitely therapy, definitely, like, that goes without saying. But I think more than anything, just realizing that we wanted this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we knew that we had to do something to change the course, because even though it was good, like I said, it wasn't as good as we knew that it could be. And you would always say, like, you tired of being flying high and falling so deep. Like, y'all, we would have arguments and never anything serious. Like, nobody ever cheated. Nobody ever put their hands on each other.
Nope.
So the arguments would be like something small that blew up into something big. But it got to the point where they were so frequent.
Yeah.
And like you said, like, you know, we wouldn't speak for a couple days, and then we would just...
This was back when we wouldn't speak for weeks.
Well, but I mean...
Like, let's keep it real. Give it to the people. This is early. I mean,
but I'm talking about, like, no,
this is when I had issues with and I'm telling on myself, where I could go 6-7 days and not talk to her.
Yeah, okay, well...
So it wasn't like a couple, and I want to just be honest, it wasn't like I wouldn't talk to you for a couple of days. I wouldn't talk to you for a week.
Well, that's okay. In
that
my
would
mind,
be a minimum, like.
But in my mind, that's what I was thinking, because what I was about to say is, we would have an argument at the top of the month, not speak for a few days, which could be up, a week. We would be fine, make up or whatever. Then by the end of the month, here we go again in the same situation. So that's what I'm saying. It wasn't like we wasn't speaking for 2 weeks and then 2 weeks. No. Yeah, it would be like, okay. And when I say not speaking, like, the basics, good morning, good night, have a good day, dinner's ready, or, whatever the, like, basic conversation.
Did you see this?
But no companionship, no sex, because that's just one thing. We've never breached that line when we are in a bad space, which was, due to your thinking, which I appreciate now, because it's like we don't want to muddy the waters of having sex when we're angry. It takes away from the passion when you're in a good place. So
I physically can't. So I don't even know, like, to think of how I feel when I'm mad at you, when I think like it's for a viable reason, like you hurt my feelings or something. There's no fucking way physically I can have
been a couple times. Well, I can think like one, maybe 2 times where like I was mad at you and like I was laying across the bed and you like came and tried to like hug, and it was like, nah, like this like, feels weird.
That's like so much energy. And it's a long shot, because you want me to shift my energy to that, and I don't even think that I can.
Yeah. But so I think, just knowing that we wanted to, because that roller coaster was for, and you always say that you kind of, your mind starts to adapt and yearn change faster than me. You get it faster than me. And I think for me, unfortunately, because of just growing up in dysfunction, I will always say, like, it's normal. Like, people argue. Until it got to the point where it's like, nah, we shouldn't be arguing this much. Like, over things that aren't relevant. Like, we shouldn't be not speaking 2 weeks out of the month. That's because crazy. If you think about it,
to go to dinner on Friday night.
But if you think about it, 2 weeks out the month, that's half the year. Yeah. If you do that every month, half the year you're not speaking. Like, that's insane.
26 weeks you're not talking.
To, like, just deal with that in a relationship. Yeah. And that's when I think, that's what I attribute our growth to, and just realizing that we didn't know what, but something had to give. And then actually putting that action into the thoughts is what helped.
Not to toot my own horn, because you gave me my props and I appreciate that, but do you think if one of us, or not me, would have been, like you said, getting it first, do you think we would have lasted? Like if we both were, for lack of a better term, lagging on getting it because of the dysfunction we was raised in, if we both had your mindset?
I don't know, because it would depend on how long it took us to get it.
What if it was another 3 years, like, of going with the, before either one of us said, hey, we shouldn't be arguing this frequently?
I don't know, because again, if you gotta think in hindsight, if we thought like, this is normal, it's like, and this is okay, this is normal, at least we're not like physically fighting, or at least nobody's leaving. Who knows? But just think about the beautiful times.
I think about falling out of friendship. I think about, like, because you can't argue that frequent. And that's one thing about us is I pay attention in our whole relationship to how much I like you. And that's a thing. And a lot of people might just think because we are in love or because I love her because I need to see her every day. I want to take care of her. I will take care of her as long as I'm here on earth. That's my legacy. But I lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
You said you like me.
Yeah, it's all about liking the person, because you got to be with this person every day. So you can love them because of time, because I care about you. You can be in love with them, and that could just be a sex thing or a physical thing because I like sleeping with you. You know, you got good stuff, whatever the case may be. But to like somebody, and that goes back to our friendship. Like when something happens, I want to tell her first. When I have a restaurant I think about, I want to tell her first. When I want to go somewhere, I want to go with her. Like, that's the friendship part. And that always stayed. So,
yeah. So, what convinced you to stick it out when things got tough? Like, what was it that just made you? Because like you said, you got it before me. You could have been like, nah, she taking too long. She not thinking like me. You know, we're not aligned at a lot of points on our journey. What convinced you to stick it out?
This is gonna sound cheesy to some people, but it's Tasha. Like it's Tasha. Like, y'all don't understand. Like it's just that simple for me. It's T. So if she's not getting it, then help her get it. Like, I wouldn't bail out on her in any other way, shape, form, or fashion. So I wouldn't do it then.
You okay?
Yeah.
All right. You can't be making them sound on camera. Your eyes got a little trouble. You know, it's the same for me. It's one of them. No matter how mad I have been at you, it was always like, and I've told you this before. Ain't nobody in this world gonna love you, gonna take care of you, gonna make sure that you're okay. And I don't mean that in like, I ain't your mom, you ain't my child, but I gotta make sure you all right, because I know I need you to be all right, and ain't nobody else gonna do that. Yeah, you got siblings. Yeah, you got a child, you know, whatever. But for me, it was always like, I got to make sure you all right. So, nothing that and it wasn't like I was putting you before me.
So is that like a sympathy thing? Like
no, see, that's what I say. It wasn't like I was putting you before me. It was like, you know, in certain moments I had to check myself because, again, nobody ever put their hands on each other. Nobody ever cheated. Nobody ever, like, you know, left the house and didn't come home. Like, it was never that kind of situation. So for me, it was like, is this fixable? Yeah, it might take a couple days, but like, is it worth it? And you always were worth it. Mm-hmm. We always were worth it to me, because somebody had said the other, or posted something the other day that said, women need to learn that there's always possibly a better man out there. And for me, I had to think about that. And it was like, I mean, there's however many billions of men in the world, but I'm going to stack them all up against you. And nobody for me would ever compare. So for me, it was always like, this is worth it. Like, I don't want anybody else. So let's figure this out. And there was a lot that I had to unlearn and learn. I had to get out my own way to be able to just clear my head and do the work that needed to be done. But that's what, for me, made me stick it out, because we were always worth it.
Yeah. That's basically what I was saying. We're always worth it. You were always worth it. I never felt, even in the darkest days of, like, you know, when you argue, you think about all that dumb shit, like, where would I live at if we broke up. Like, what kind of apartment I'm gonna get? What kind of house? She used to have fucking apartments on the iPad or some shit. She would leave it open, and I would see it and then I would look for apartments and leave it open too. Like we would do
I'll be
shit
calculating
like
my finances. Like, oh, I can.
But nobody's going anywhere. Nobody ever did anything stupid like that, and it's just it was fun the whole time when she was my girlfriend. It was even funner when she was my fiance. But it's like, y'all don't know what it's like being married to Natasha. And it's the best. And I wouldn't trade that for anything or anybody. So like she said, it doesn't matter what you look like. You pale in comparison to who she is for me.
What was the pivotal moment when you knew there was no turning back?
Ooh, media.
Care to expound or not really?
I was used to be.
Do you need some tissue?
No, I used to be a fugitive. And this was year?
That was 2003.
2003. We had an apartment in Ambler, living in Ambler. I had my own apartment. She was living with me, and there was some heat coming down, and it was like, I don't feel safe here no more. And at that time, I'm talking early 2003, it was I need this under the radar thing to work. So in order for it to work, I need to move like that. So I don't feel safe here, I'm out. And just like that, we was going. In the middle of the night, packing up shit, don't want to stay here no more. Went and got a hotel in Media.
Mind y'all, if you know anything about Pennsylvania, Ambler.
Let me get there. Walk with me. Let me get there. So we lived in Ambler. We had to go to
Montgomery
Media.
County.
This is like 20 miles away. Like a nice 35-minute ride on a highway, on two highways.
In a stick shift truck.
Yeah. And we was like packing up clothes and going. And nobody really knows this about us, but we went and got a hotel in Media. We was in some hotel that we never even would have stayed in if we were alone or ever would. Yeah, like a motel. And that made me feel safe because I was away from, what I thought was the danger. And when I looked, me being scared and didn't know what to do, and I got to go to work tomorrow, and she was with me. And I remember crying to her because I was telling her, I think that was the first time I told her how scared I was and didn't know what was going to happen to me. It was a lot going on, and I just remember her consoling me and being with me, and her telling me she's going to hold me down. And I knew then, like, okay, this is my person. Not because of what she was doing, like the criminal aspect of it. It was just the fact that that was the first time I think I ever was super vulnerable around her, and she didn't stomp on my feelings. Like, she took care of them. She made it a soft landing spot.
Yeah, it's crazy because, you had told me you loved me, from even before day one. Like, I knew that you loved me. But I think in that moment was where you allowed me to love you.
Right.
Like, we had always said those words, but you always had this hard protective shell, which you needed to protect yourself. And in that moment, yes, like, you literally, like, laying on me, crying, and being vulnerable. Again, it kind of reinforced to me that even in your most vulnerable state, you still were making sure that I was okay. The crazy thing is, I remember us having like a quote unquote date, but not really. Like, we kind of like took a walk. It was a water ice stand. We sat on a bench. Like, this is like in the middle of
nowhere. We don't know where the fuck we are.
But in the middle of literally being on the run. Like, we are, and then not to mention, again, all of our stuff is in Ambler. Like, we took some clothes and stuff, but we were here. So in the morning, he would take me back to Ambler so I can get ready for work. I would catch the train to work, go to work. Nobody knew. I remember just looking at people thinking, y'all have no idea what my life is right now. Then I would catch the train back home. I stayed in a motel last night. He would come back to get me, and then we would drive back to the motel. Like, that was our life, probably for what, a month? Yeah. And it was a cash motel. One night, they gave a key to our room to somebody else. Thank God we had. Well, no, they tried, but we had the locks and stuff on. But they sure as hell opened the door. Like, it was just a crazy time. But for me, that was like that confirmation that, like, this is my person. Like, God, this, mind you, it wasn't like I gave up no luxurious life to be in this situation. Like, my life was chaos, and you were my landing spot. Like, you were the one who, you protected me from myself. That was my life was chaos because of things that I was doing, and you protected me from myself. So that, for me too, was like that pivotal moment that was like, ride or die. You my baby. All right. One thing that you mentioned was counseling, and we know that counseling has been extremely beneficial for us. You know, I don't even know. Of course, we did premarital counseling as was required by the person who married us, but then we made the choice to continue. And like, counseling has been so beneficial that I almost feel like it should be required by law. Like, if you don't go to counseling, your marriage will be annulled, because it's just so important. I did a little bit of research, and I found out that, I'm just going to read y'all a couple quick stats. So 49%. Now, we know the divorce rate is like 49. It was like 50%, right? I think it actually went up a little bit. But 49% of couples. This was an article by Forbes that actually just posted this week. 49% of couples have gone or go to counseling, which I thought was pretty, you know, half is not bad.
Well, half the couples are divorced.
Yeah, so exactly.
The others staying together is going to therapy.
Exactly. Of the 49%, what percent do you think states that, you know, they feel like it works or it has worked to help them?
49% of the people go to counseling. And
right. And of that 49%.
What people say helps?
Yeah. Like,
35.
Or close. 40, no, I'm sorry. No, you're not close. 70%. 70% of...
Ho. You said 40% of the people.
49%.
So you're saying what portion of the 49%?
Says that it works. 70% of them.
Okay, you did. I kind of thought about that. Like, you only have the percentage of 49, so I'm going to say 30 something.
No. So if you got 100, right?
Yeah.
So these 50 people are gone. So now this makes your whole. This is 100%. These 50 now make your whole.
Okay.
So of that, 70% of these people say...
I would think the same. That's why I said 30 something, because I was going for like 70%. You understand what I was saying? Because I thought we were only topping the percentage off at 49, and I thought you was... That's how I interpreted the question.
Yeah. So 49% is now your whole number.
Right.
So now
I would think like 70%.
Your math is mathing. So yeah, 70% says it actually works, which, you know, I thought was pretty interesting. It goes to show.
If somebody, like a person like me who indulges in therapy the way I do, like I give my whole self there. I tell on myself, I don't lie. So I know what it does and I know what it can do. If somebody told me it didn't help, I would think they're bullshit.
Yeah, you gotta think you're not working.
Yeah, you didn't do it right.
Or I would suggest to them to try someone else. Now, I'm going to just tell y'all this real quickly because some people have a negative connotation. I read there was a story today where somebody, it said like something about marriage counselors, and somebody said, marriage counselors, why are we counting on somebody else to tell us how to be married? That's between you and your spouse. And it's like, that is not how it goes. Like, nobody's telling you how to do it. It goes
how they want it to go.
But not only that, just because you're married doesn't mean you know how to do it. Marriage counseling is considered by many therapists as the most difficult therapy to undertake. According to this author, especially couples who are angry, hurt, and treat therapy as a medium to prove their partner wrong. They look at it as, they view the process as a court and a therapist as a judge, hopefully who will straighten their partner out. Can you relate to that? Like going and feeling like, tell him I'm right or tell her I'm right, or just trying to prove your point and wanting the therapist to like kind of back you up and either side.
I can relate to that.
Yeah, so
I can relate to
the
that.
fact that people look at it like that is what makes it, a little difficult.
I always, just not to cut you off, but I always went into therapy about just give me the language to make what I'm saying make sense, whether she disagrees or agrees or not. This isn't a dissertation, so we'll get back to the questions. Go ahead.
No, I understand that. Marriage counseling is meant to help couples understand and resolve conflicts, like you said, to improve their relationship. It's tended to give couples the tools to communicate with compassion, less fear, while learning how to problem solve and deal with conflict in a healthy manner. So again, it's not telling you how to be married. It's telling you things are going to happen. Right. You don't know how to get through those things, especially if you ain't never been married before. So being able to have that tool, it's like going to school. Like, they're teaching you how to do this.
This is what the counseling before marriage is set up for, so that you can kind of have an acceptance of, this is supposed to work. There is no plan B. This is my person. I can only get but so mad at this because like, this is going to happen again. Something else might happen. So you can't fire off a rocket and be ready to walk out the door at the third argument.
Exactly. And what
you need to know how to respond to those arguments, where it's like a talking, like, yo, babe, I don't like that. This is how it makes me feel. Hopefully your spouse loves you, him or her loves you enough to take it into consideration and change their behavior.
Right. What a lot of people think is you got to be going through something to go to marriage counseling. And of course, you don't need to be. In fact, it's better if you don't wait until your marriage is unraveling. Marriage counseling can benefit couples who just want to strengthen their relationship and feel more connected and bonded, which I can say for us, it's kind of the phase that we're in. So when we started marriage counseling, we were going bi-weekly. We had to have some emergency appointments, like, or like, we can't wait bi-weekly, like something came up and we need to talk. And now we've kind of scaled back to just having like monthly, touch-ins, would you call it that? Like, just to kind of, and, I'm grateful. It doesn't mean that we haven't had conflict from one appointment to the next, but we've managed to deal with that and resolve it to the point that we ain't waiting for the therapist to sit in front of, the therapist to be angry about it. No. It's just kind of like, all right, we may bring something up that we don't even realize may bubble, I don't want to say blow up, but may bubble into a larger conversation that will give us even more tools to use.
Let me get my shit off. It's like, what it did was give us the tools and the language. So when you arguing about something and you don't know how to get your point across, or you don't know how to respond to something, you get overwhelmed, you get frustrated, and that's where the hollering and all that shit comes out. It gave us tools to know how to respond, talk to each other, and be easy with each other. Like, it's just that simple.
Yeah. What aspects of our relationship have come as a surprise to you? Like, things that you didn't expect. A surprise in a good way.
Like, just being transparent. I don't know what, it probably was a few years ago. I remember you took my phone and you wrote a note in it, and you told me that you were frustrated in us and you didn't know what was going to happen with us. You were scared. You didn't know how to be a wife. You didn't know how to be the wife that you thought you wanted to be, and it was really bothering you. And to see through therapy, through having tools, through talking, through feeling your feelings, through growth, through God, to see the wife that you are now is like, damn. Like, when you ask me, like, why you stuck it out, it's like, who knows why I did, but I'm super fucking thankful I did. Like, the end goal, the end of it is like, damn, like, who knew it would be this good? So to see your growth in God, to see your growth in your marriage, to see your growth in the way you care about me, to see your growth in yourself is amazing. Like I don't know if people out there actually pay attention to their spouses. If you do, shouts out to you. If you don't, you missing something, because when you see that shit happen firsthand in front of your face, it's like, damn. Like, I knew her since she was a kid, right? Like a little girl. I knew her. But I've been in her life, in her bed, since she was 19 years old. She's 42 years old. I've seen her whole entire 20s, 30s, and now she's 42. So I've seen her grow firsthand, like in real time. And it's sometimes it was stagnant, it was slow. Sometimes it wasn't no growth at all. But again, through therapy, she's taken 20 steps forward. So.
Yeah, and you know what? I think too, I know we talked about couples therapy. For me, what was important was individual therapy, because it was some stuff I had to fix in here before I could be a better version of what I wanted to be as a wife. And I also had to take down the images of what I thought I should be and just be what I knew how to be. Ask him, what did he need of me to be?
Learn.
And have a conversation, because there were some things that's like, all right, but you might want this, and like compromise too, you know. And I think we both have come. For me, the most surprising aspect of it is you becoming a softer version of yourself within our relationship. That has been, it's been very surprising and welcoming, and it makes me feel so much more loved. Not that I ever questioned that you didn't love, that you did love me, but you, like I would always say, you had this tough love exterior all the time. And sometimes it would kind of come across as just not being as compassionate. And that for me is, I don't know if I ever expected you to change in that way. Like it's a pleasant, welcome change. So that's why I say that's the most surprising part of it. And it's not like a softer version of you, like you become soft. Like,
no, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Because again, we both had individual therapy. She went through individual therapies, and so did I. And in my therapy, I learned that I had to have patience with, you know, the things that I care about. And so that maybe showed itself that way, which I'm glad it did in my relationship.
Yeah, but and just like in your willingness to compromise. Because I wasn't always patient. I
wasn't always a person who wanted to compromise. Like, she's a person who wants what she wants. I'm a person who wants what I'm a Leo. I'm a person who wants what I want. And that's the thing.
We're
like,
always right.
You know, God willing, 30 years from now, I want to still be with Tasha. So I'm not going to, you know, compromise that 30 years earlier. So that's just how I look at it.
Yeah. That definitely for me was like the most pleasant surprise of like, wasn't expecting this at this juncture of our relationship, but I love it and I enjoy it.
Walter Swishy.
One of the things that I value most about us is you are my best friend. Like, you know, you're my husband, you're my provider, you're my protector. You're my lover, but you really are my friend. And that has grown and evolved as well. How important is the friendship aspect of our relationship to you? And have you always felt that way? Because I think we always considered ourselves being friends, but our friendship has blossomed even more. How important is that to you?
It's super important. It's the number one important thing, because I don't have a lot of friends. I never knew how to make friends. I was, you know, a recluse or whatever because of my situation. And who knows, maybe I would have been a recluse even if I wasn't in that situation. But I never knew how to make friends or be comfortable around people. And I was super comfortable around you, and I could talk to you about anything. I could go anywhere with you. We could laugh. We could sit, people watch, talk all day, eat food. You didn't mind being on a bus for 2 hours, riding somewhere. Like, there's not a lot of, it was like, you know, and at that time you were my girlfriend or my, you know, my fiance, but it's like, you wasn't getting what you get now, which was the best of me. And it was like, damn, like, this is my friend, because I don't have a lot of money. She know that. She know we going for a ride just to be somewhere else because we don't want to be in a house, and we just gonna hang out in the park and eat food and chill and talk and love on each other. And that's good enough for her, and it's good enough for me. So those were the things that was like, damn, like, this is a real friendship. Like, this, we just hang out. So yeah, it's super important.
Yeah, we all, like I said, we always said it, but it was just like, it was just said, and I think we have put more action behind it. Like you said, you give me the best of you, and I want to be the same for you. I had to learn how to be a friend. Like, I had to learn how to listen without always giving my opinion. I had to learn when my opinion was needed. I also had to learn how to have those hard conversations because, okay, as your friend, I want the best for you. You may not want to hear it, and I have to know when is the moment where you don't want to hear it, and all right, I'm gonna just let you ride out and not hear it, or you don't want to hear it and I don't care, you need to hear this because it's for your best interest. So I really had to learn how to do all that while being your wife, but outside of being your wife. You know, sometimes I would say to you, like, this is your friend talking to you, like, I'm your wife, but if I wasn't, I would still be saying this to you because I care about you. So, yeah, I think for me, I never, and maybe that is another thread that strengthens our relationship. I can't say, again, I thought, like, you know, it just was like, yeah, we friends because we're together. But it really has become really integral because it's like, people treat their friend, like their non-spousal friends, sometimes better than they treat their actual spouse. Like, if you wouldn't treat your girlfriend this way, or you wouldn't do your girlfriend like this, why would you do your spouse like that? Or for a man, if you wouldn't do your homie a certain way, you don't want to let your homie down, or you don't want to let your girlfriend down because you told him you was going to do this, or you told him you were going to be here.
Way more loyalty towards their homies. Girls have more loyalty towards their girlfriends than they do towards their spouses and their that's the backwards. That's backwards. Like, why would you, I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna be all out for my homie, but you not like that with your wife, the person you sleep with every night? Like, you hide shit from her, you lie to her, but your homie you tell everything to. He knows shit your wife don't know. Like, nah, that's not how it's supposed to rock. It's supposed to be like, there's nobody that can tell her anything about me that she don't know already. Like, there's nobody that's gonna walk up on her and tell her some shit that's surprising. And that's my friend. Like, she know, and there's no surprising. You can't surprise her about me, and that's just what it is. So yeah.
Last.
Do we need to have a part two?
No, last question.
Okay.
Lesson learned. If you had to, like, just, what were some, and you don't have to make it long. What was just some of the lessons that you've learned throughout our journey to this point that, again, we always say this ain't no advice show, we ain't giving nobody advice, but y'all kind of, somebody asked us, and we just wanted to share our experiences and hope that even if it's one sentence that we said, anybody who may be thinking about leaving their spouse, who may be questioning whether or not they want to get married, marriage is a beautiful thing. Don't let this hot girl summer, city girls act bad, movement make y'all think any different. Marriage is, I want to act bad all summer right with him. Like, don't let them fool you. Like, I want to be outside, but I'm coming back inside too because I want to go to bed with him. Marriage is a beautiful thing. So again, we're not giving like advice. This ain't a how to do show, but if there was any lesson that you wanted to impart to others, what would it be?
I was telling my friend at work this today, right? Because he's the way he talks about his wife, the way he talks about his girl is the way I talk about you. And I was explaining to him about when I asked you about her, it's a way that you talk about her, kind of like I talk about Tosh. And he was like, for real? Like, you think so? And I said, yeah, like you should, you like pay attention to that. And I was telling him he should marry her. But, so the lesson learned is that always pay attention. Always pay attention. Just one lesson?
No.
All right, so always pay attention. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's always pay attention.
I know it sounds so cliche, but I'm gonna say communication. And that's used so broadly, but if you really think about it, like,
I don't want to go there because people are going to be like, everybody always say communication.
But I'm going to tell you why I think communication is just so important, because, and this I will really say applies to any relationship. I've told, you know, my youngest sister several times throughout her life, like if she's had situations with friends and stuff, like this applies to any relationship. You can't, and when I say communication, I mean, you know, verbal communication, your body language, that's a nonverbal communication. You can't expect somebody to know how you feel if you don't tell them. I don't care how much they love you. I don't care how close y'all are. I don't care how long y'all been together. But you will
care how much you want him or her to know what's in your head. They don't.
This is my lesson. You have
to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah. Because you will F up a good thing, whether it's in that moment, whether it's in that week, that month, all because of you not speaking up. You can't hold somebody accountable for something you didn't say, something that you didn't express, because they don't know. You can think that they should have known. You could think like, how didn't you know? But the only sure way to know that somebody knows how you feel is for you to say it. And again, bigger than just saying it, you got to watch what you say, how you say, the intent of your words. You know, all of that ties into communication. I mean, it could be a whole lesson.
If you give somebody a steak on a trash can lid, they won't want it. So it's all about delivery. Yeah. The steak is good. We all know steak is good. But if somebody bring it to you on a trash can lid, you don't want it. And that's the same thing with words.
And sometimes people can be like, well, you know, you want to be filter free, or you don't want to have to sugarcoat your words. But sometimes if you love that person, you should. It doesn't mean you're not getting your point across just because you're not saying it cutthroat. Sometimes you got to say the hard things, but you don't have to say it so hard. Because if you care about this person, you don't want to hurt them. If you love this person and you want your message to be received, people are human. And you have to communicate to people how you want people to communicate to you. Right. You can't expect, like, just like if somebody says something to you harsh, you're going to feel like, why would they say that to me like that? But then you can't flip around and be the deliverer of in that same mode. So there's a lot of things, you know, to be learned. But I would say definitely communication is key. Communication, compromise, companionship, commitment. For me, those are the 4 C's of a relationship.
Add one more. Try to stay in love. Try to stay in love. Like, you do a check with yourself. When you look at your spouse every, I don't know, year or two, just ask yourself that. Like, are you still in love? If you don't think so, then do some stuff. Like, you don't have to tell her or tell him you not, but do some stuff to try to rekindle that flame, because that's something you don't want to do, is fall out of love. You don't want to be in a relationship just because I love you. Like, that can happen just through time. Like, you still want to roll over 21 years later and be like, she still make me giddy. He still make me giddy. Like, I'm still in love. Like, I still feel the same way I felt in year 1, year 2.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to, you know, lead the way. And I appreciate your, you know.
So the What We Learned segment is y'all tell us what y'all learned, if anything. So if y'all want to talk in the comments, let us know what y'all think. This was her idea. So just
if
let us know.
If you have some tips about marriage that you would like to share,
let us know what your story, what you think, what you want to say. Like, we engage in it all. So, you know, drop some comments.
You ready for 3 grams? Staying in the vein of talking about marriage, former NYC Mayor Bill de Blasio and his wife announced their separation. But they say they won't divorce, but they will date other people and continue to share
the
their
same house. Yeah, black and white.
Oh
yeah, you have to say his wife is black. A lot of people might not know that.
He's white. His wife is black. But I don't care if they were green. This makes me put, what's the Austin Powers finger?
Dr. Evil.
How does this work?
It's the pinky.
And I was trying to think in my mind, what could be the reason for saying
this could work because he's a politician and it's money involved, there's properties involved, and it's just amicable between them. And it's like, listen, I don't want to be with you. You don't want to be with me. We're not having sex. I'm going to date other people. You're going to date other people. But we're going to share the same home. I'm still going to take care of you. Still going to take care of me. We ain't got to have no ugly divorce. It's weird, but it's amicable.
I was thinking, for me, the only way I could think...
And the optics of me moving out, getting a house, because it still could be amicable with me doing that, but then the optics look, so it might fuck with your political career. I might
but
not
you announcing you being separated, it's like, what's the difference? The only thing that, to me, that kind of made sense, and I didn't look this up, I don't know what the children's situation is. Maybe just from a scheduling perspective, it makes it easier so the kids can see both parents. You don't got to worry about going to mommy house or going to daddy house. I tried to think, what is...
That's always the excuse to kids.
But what could be the reason? Because like you said, if it's for, political reasons, then
Money.
y'all should have kept this under wraps.
I just think the political optics help him, but I think it's for money.
You think he don't want to pay alimony?
No, it's not that he don't want to pay. He probably has the money to pay. She's just probably not with that. She's probably like, I don't want to be in the public eye with a divorce. We don't have to do this. And their relationship might be like, they might be talking like us. They just don't vibe no more.
Yeah, but okay, even if that's the case, why not to say we're going to separate but see other people, but we're still legally married? Why not stay in the same house?
So that lets you know the fact that we don't want to break the contract says this is financial. Yeah, that alone says it's financial. We're going to keep the paperwork in order. So even if somebody
got good health benefits,
even if somebody pass away, I can leave you this, you can leave me this, you get this, you still in control of this. Like, we ain't doing none of no changing no beneficiaries or nothing like that. We just seeing other people.
Could you imagine that situation?
Fuck no. Fuck no. Who the fuck you seeing? Like, still living here?
Yeah, that's crazy. But God bless him. Wish him well. Faith Evans reportedly settles divorce terms with Stevie J. So just a little history. Back in 2021, they had filed for divorce, or she filed for divorce. However, Stevie J requested spousal support payments.
How much?
Didn't specify. Now, the agreement,
I heard he
it says
doing that out of spite, though. I did heard he dropped that.
Well, they came to terms today. So between 2021 and 2023, he hadn't dropped it, but they came to terms today. It didn't specify. She let the courts know they have some kind of agreement. So maybe that was the dropping it. But even to put that out there that I'm requesting spousal support, as a man, under what terms would you ever do that?
I would never request spousal support under no circumstances. I'm a man. Like, that's just how it is. It can sound cliche all it wants, but this I guess there's two things you don't do. You don't move into a woman's house, and you don't ask for spousal support. Like, you just don't do that. You're a man. You make your own way, and that's just crossing the line. Like, you out the pocket. Men should stay in the pocket. And when you do stuff like that, you out the pocket. It
just gives me vibes of Kendu and how he did Mary. And it's like...
Yeah, it's wrong.
Even if you did it just out of spite.
And it's
like,
weird
that's
because
so
men...
spicy, so sassy.
And men would look at that as like, that's a female thing to do, because you would always seem to... It would be like happening on the other hand, where a woman would be doing... Like, it's just...
Because it's spousal support. You're asking for the woman to financially support you. Now that you're separated, still pay for me to live my life,
right?
Because you've created this environment for me to live luxuriously, and now I can't go out and make my own money.
But what
I'm
saying,
pay me.
Okay, but so when your body language is like that, I gotta play devil's advocate and say, that's me. I feel that way because of a man. Technically, and what's wrong with him or her asking for spousal support when you separate? The woman does it. So I'm clearly saying it's a double standard, but you don't got to rub it in like that.
No,
it's a double standard where a woman can say, I need spousal support, and a man has to pay for it, and people don't bat a fucking eye. No. Not unless it's a large amount. But if it's just regular alimony between two people, people don't bat an eye. But
Which I think is bad.
But when a man says, give me spousal support, and it could be the same situation where I came into the marriage, I created this, I made this, and you're a little bit more up, and then you want spousal support. And it's like, that's not right either way, but it's okay for the woman to do it. But as a man to do it, it's looked at as as like
sassy.
Yeah.
I look at it like this. As a man, it's very...
Young people say. Is that what that is? Is it munchy?
No,
that's not what that is.
No, you're sassy. You're sassy as a man to ask for a woman to provide for you. Yeah. Now, as a woman, I think
sassy. Is the sassy? I know. Oh, okay.
Like a sassy woman. You being sassy.
You're a baddie.
But as a woman,
niggas out here, it's all bad bitches.
As a woman too, though, I feel like a man should be your provider when y'all are together. There's no reason why you should still be asking for him to provide for you when y'all have decided to separate, unless if the divorce is because of him being unfaithful, but in those cases, it's really out of spite. If there's not children involved, you go find a job and create your own life. Let him do his thing. I was going to say, you're out of pocket now. Even if the guy cheats, you shouldn't there should be no spousal support either way unless there's children involved. Not because the guy cheated, because it's definitely going to be out of spite. Well, I said it's out of spite. Yeah, but no, you can't have that. Spite. Dogs take shit on the floors out of spite. We're not animals. You go your own way, you find your own way. If you have children, then he should fucking take care of you. Plain and simple. If y'all get divorced and you got kids by him, he should be fucking taking care of you. Plain and simple. If y'all don't have kids, then he ain't got to give you shit. You got 2 legs and 2 arms. Wait, he should be taking care of you, or he should be taking care of the kids? The kids. Okay. All right. The kids. Okay. Last gram, and this is kind of a couple, maybe a week or so late, but I still wanted to go back to this since we're talking about marriage. Cardi B and Offset. Now, let me just speak. So, I don't know where Offset, I don't know where it started, where he thought that his wife cheated and he posted about it. First red flag. Just posting that kind of information, even if it's true or not, why are you posting that on social media? Nevertheless,
can I answer that question just from the man perspective?
Go ahead.
He's hurt. Plain and simple. He's hurt. So go ahead.
So she responds, says, nah, you tripping, blah, blah, blah. So I got a couple questions here. She kind of alluded to the fact that she's Cardi B. She wouldn't be able to cheat because, one, if it was some regular schmegler dude, he's going to tell all his homies like she's Cardi B. Do you think that's true?
Nope. Hell no, it ain't
true. I think she could find, because there's some real ones out here that's going to keep their mouth shut.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Now, there's somebody in the industry, I think they also going to keep their mouth shut. Whether it's out of fear, I don't know if Offset is a killer.
Industry people might tell because they are around each other, and that shit never, really works out majority of the time. I mean, it's some anomalies in there that work out, but it really never works out. They kind of interchange every couple years. But there's a regular nigga who is a single guy doing okay for himself, and if Cardi want to smash, and you better keep it on the low to keep smashing, that's gonna get you able to smash Cardi 10 or 20 times, and before she get tired and be like, all right, I'm done aggravating my husband.
I thought she was lying, not lying, but just misinformed. It's some regular
I don't think she was lying. I mean,
it's just her perception. Like she was lying. Yeah, no, I don't mean lying about not doing it. I think it was just her perception and thinking that somebody would tell. Okay, here's the next piece. So she kind of alluded to the fact that she got her lick back by posting the "I miss my granny" post. Do you know what that means?
No.
So back years ago when Offset had got caught cheating and it was known, he posted a picture of himself and the caption said, "I miss my granny." So that kind of evolved into this saying, I'm about to tell you, this saying that guys use when they do something, they mess up, they kind of just, man, I was tripping because I missed my grandmom. I'm sorry. I acted out of frustration. Just using it as a bad excuse of why you did something stupid.
So I got my dick sucked because I miss my granny?
Yeah, I was tripping.
I don't even want to associate that with Nana.
I know, but I'm just saying that's the thing, kind of attributed to, even, let's not even look okay, you go into McDonald's and you flip out on the cashier and you I'm sorry, I was going through something emotional. I missed my grandmom and I just had a bad day. Okay. So kind of attributing it to that. Okay. So he posted a picture, said, "I miss my granny." She posted a picture after this came out and put a caption, I miss my granny.
Yeah, she fucked somebody.
So do you think that now she had filed for divorce, or at least said she was filing for divorce back then, but they worked it out, things got better, they had another baby, blah blah blah, they look like things are all well and good, which is another reason why I say nobody's relationship is relationship goals for me, because it's just pictures. We don't know what goes on behind doors, just like y'all don't know what goes on behind our doors except for what we tell y'all. Do you think though that when a woman forgives a man for cheating, she can truly forgive him? Or do you think it's always going to be that little thing in the back of her head that says, I'm going to get my lick back?
I think it never goes away. And this is sad, because sometimes, right, men are young, women are young, we stupid, we do dumb things. And sometimes shit like that can make you straighten the fuck up and realize what you almost lost what you fucking have. Like your person, you almost lost your soulmate. Get your shit together. Like a Jay-Z and Beyonce type, that type situation. If B wasn't as, if B was more impulsive to be like, fuck you nigga, I'm out, and not express how much you hurt me and how much you need to fix this and how, privilege you should think you are, that I'm giving you an opportunity to fix this. If you don't get that, then you know you lost. You lost. So that's that.
So you think women? No. So the question: do you think a woman can truly forgive you, or do you think that they will always?
I think it always will be there. Either way, if a woman forgives a man or if a man forgives a woman. And it's, again, I say that to say something like that can make you get your shit together, but it also can break the relationship, and you could lose something that you know you should have had. Like, imagine if he would have lost his wife. If Jay would have lost his wife. You
telling me years ago, like, God forbid, if you ever cheated and I did forgive you, that you wouldn't be able to be with me because you will always feel like I'm gonna get you back.
And I know you talk shit and you have innuendos. So anytime I felt like I wanted to buck, that would be a part of it. And it would be like, nah, we couldn't be together. Nah, we couldn't be together. Either you forgive me or you don't. But again, you can't do that. It could be fucking 8 years later.
The mind games that a person could play, even if
what you want to say, and then say what that after that. Because the mind games a fucking woman can play with you over that shit will have you ready to kill yourself. Any person will play mind games, but the mind games a woman will play with you.
Because I was about to, you could have it in your soul to never get your lick back and cheat, but just knowing, like, I got this over your head. Like, what you say? Like, okay, yeah. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I'm having a girls' night this weekend.
Like, we can't decide.
And you gonna be like, a girls' night? Where that come from? Like, it's gonna be every little
we was just like, you'll be arguing over, like, we can't decide on what kind of birthday cake to get him, and then all of a sudden, girls' night. Like, you like, what the fuck? All right, get the cake you want. Like, get the cake you want. Like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know them, or, you know, for the sake of their children, they got a lot of kids involved in this situation. I hate the fact that it even had to make it to the internet.
Yeah, you don't go to the internet.
Yeah, that's just childish to me.
One.
Yeah.
Let's do a wrap.
It was a great show today.
It was. Act 2 the podcast, episode 130. Your boy, International Walk.
Your girl, Tosh, the co-hostess with the mostest, who is the interim host today.
Act2thepodcast.com, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Radio Public, TikTok, Breaker, Spotify. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. My baby did a good job. I'm super proud of her. She has good, poignant questions. She was a little long-winded, but that's okay. I expected a little bit. Act 2 the podcast, episode 130. If you fuck with us, you fuck with us. If you don't, you should. Peace.